Hello to whoever is watching this video. I want to say thank you for clicking on and thank you for showing your support as I spread awareness during National Epilepsy Awareness Month. I made a post about National Epilepsy Awareness Month and what I plan to do to spread awareness. As a part of that, I needed help from my followers to ask me questions or post statements related to epilepsy, which I will be answering here. I would like to say thank you to anybody who left a comment or liked that post or made a donation to my page. It really means a lot to me and I am so happy that I have the opportunity to spread more awareness on this condition. So the first question is, what can everyone do to make the world a more safe and understanding place for those who have epilepsy? Unfortunately, there are a lot of myths and stereotypes and especially a stigma surrounding people with epilepsy. A lot of people are scared to be around us because they don't know if we're going to have a seizure. A lot of people are scared because they don't know what to do when someone has a seizure. Because of the myths and stigma surrounding epilepsy, a lot of people tend to believe things that either aren't true or are rarely true. To help reduce the stigma and eliminate those myths, I suggest asking questions to anybody that you know with the condition, anybody that has gone through it, or even know someone with the condition. If you see a myth online, think, hey, where is this source coming from? Do I know it's true? Maybe fact check it. Educating yourself in any way you can is an amazing method, or asking questions to anybody that you know can answer them, or even reaching out to organizations, doctors, anything like that that could give you reliable information. One thing that the Epilepsy Foundation promotes a lot is creating a safe and stable environment for those with epilepsy, and reducing stigma and eliminating myths is a big part of that. The less myths we have surrounding the condition and the more people we have aware of the condition, the more safe people with epilepsy will feel wherever they go. Adding on to that, something that you can do to make the world safer and more supportive for people with epilepsy is getting Seizure First Aid certified. Getting Seizure First Aid certified will not only help the people around you with epilepsy feel safe, but it'll help them feel supported as well, knowing that people are there to help them if they need it and knowing that people took the time and effort to help them. I'm going to transition into another question, which is, how do you become Seizure First Aid certified? Seizure First Aid certification is provided by the Epilepsy Foundation. To become Seizure First Aid certified, all you need to do is head over to the Epilepsy Foundation's website or to the link that I'll either put right here or somewhere else on my page. And once you find the page, there will be a list of dates and times that Seizure First Aid certification trainings are available. Seizure First Aid certification can be done from anywhere and only takes about 75 minutes to complete. Once you sign up for a date and time that works for you, you'll receive a pre-test to complete, then you'll attend the webinar, and then afterwards you'll receive a post-test. Once you complete the post-test with a passing score, you'll receive your certification by email. The certification is valid for 2 years. Not to mention, the whole thing is free, so there's no financial burden associated with it, and you don't have to worry about going to a specific location. The webinar will include details on several types of epilepsies and seizures and how to be prepared if somebody around you has a seizure. I've been Seizure First Aid certified for a few months now, and the webinar taught me things that I didn't even know about epilepsy, and I've had it. So you will definitely learn something new, and it is always best to be prepared. Getting Seizure First Aid certified is an amazing thing to do and will help create a safe and supportive environment for people around you with epilepsy. Keep in mind that you don't have to have epilepsy to have a seizure. 1 in 10 people are expected to have a seizure over the course of their lifetime, but having a seizure does not mean that you have epilepsy. That being said, getting Seizure First Aid certified can help more than just people with epilepsy. It can help anybody around you because a seizure can happen to anybody at any time, at any place. And if you happen to learn something new during the certification, you can use that information to bust any myths you hear people talking about regarding epilepsy. Until you're able to attend a session, there's a great saying for anybody to be able to help someone with a seizure. The saying is stay safe side. This is a great procedure for anybody to follow if they have yet to complete Seizure First Aid certification. Just a reminder, you do not have to be certified to help somebody having a seizure. And on a final note, be sure to let me know if you take the Seizure First Aid certification. As an awareness ambassador for the Epilepsy Foundation, one of my goals is to get as many people certified as possible, so I'd love to know if any of you decide to take the course. A couple questions I got involve how epilepsy impacted my daily life. My seizure stopped 4 years ago, so as of now, epilepsy does not have a consistent impact on my daily life besides doing the amazing things I can do for the Epilepsy Foundation. However, I had seizures from about 5th grade to 8th grade, and as a child, it definitely had some impacts. Because I was so young, I didn't understand the severity of the condition and necessarily what was even happening inside of my brain. However, there were a lot of impacts on my daily life that a lot of people may not even realize a person with epilepsy may experience. I wasn't able to do a lot of things at recess, like going high on the swings or doing the monkey bars or anything that involved height, in case I were to have a seizure. Something that I also experienced a lot during those few years was hospital visits. Over the course of the few years that I had seizures, my body decided to try and hit every single holiday with a seizure at least once, which I don't think is that fair, but it happened. I've had seizures on Halloween, Mother's Day, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, like Don't know why I was blessed with that trait, but it happened. So there were a lot of times that I was hospitalized, whether it be for the night or for a week at a time. For these long hospital stays, it would usually involve putting electrodes all over my head, anywhere that is necessary to measure activity from. And as a kid that had hair down to my waist, that was very fun. Obviously, nobody wants to spend a week in the hospital, but I tried to make the most of it. Quick tidbit about hospital stays. Sometimes the doctors will actually try to produce a seizure from you. For example, one of my seizure triggers was exercise. What they did was bring in an exercise bike into my hospital room and told me to go on it until I couldn't anymore. I don't know whether this is fortunately or unfortunately, but I didn't have a seizure doing that, so I just spent a lot of time on the exercise bike. Overall, epilepsy didn't have too much of a negative impact on my life as a child. I definitely had restrictions, but I was definitely also able to make the most out of it. So another great question that I got is epilepsy something you're born with, or is something that you get as you get older? And is it inheritable, or can you get it if nobody in your family has had it? So there can be genetic aspects to epilepsy, but it can also definitely happen if nobody in your family has it. As far as I know, nobody in my immediate family has had a history of epilepsy or seizures, so I was the first one to experience that. You can develop epilepsy at any point in your life. People can be born with it or experience it soon after birth, or they could be like me, I developed it as a child, which went away within a few years, or they could develop it at any point in their life, including adulthood. So this next question I absolutely love, and it's what would you tell little you going through treatment with epilepsy or somebody struggling with it now? Because I was young and my seizures weren't as severe as they could have been, I would probably want to tell myself to just keep living life the way you're doing it, not stress whether something goes right or whether something goes wrong. I want to say that I had a pretty optimistic attitude going through it. So I think my best advice for my younger self would be to keep doing what I was doing and keep pushing through it. Take it one day at a time, let it do what it has to do, and eventually everything will work out okay. Honestly, I'm actually pretty glad to have experienced a lot of stuff that I did with that condition. I think having so many hospital visits and meeting people with the condition, or even just receiving support for it, really helped me develop a sense of empathy and a sense of compassion for those around me. As for someone who's struggling with epilepsy right now, honestly, somewhat of the same advice, keep taking it day by day. Unfortunately, a lot of us will never find out the cause of their seizures, and while that can weigh pretty heavily, I know it weighed heavily on me at one point, just know that this is happening for a reason. If you don't find out the cause of your seizures, I know how hard that can be, but also use that as a way to talk about your condition. Maybe use it as a way to educate others. Hey, we don't know a lot about our disorder, but you educating yourself, or you knowing this, or you doing that can really help us out. And as much as this condition sucks, it makes us extremely strong people. So if you're feeling a little defeated from the disorder, that is perfectly normal, but also know that you're gonna come out of this a million times stronger than ever before, and you will be able to make amazing change. I would recommend becoming an awareness ambassador like myself. A lot of people that are awareness ambassadors currently have the disorder or have a close loved one who has the disorder, and it is an amazing community to talk about, to connect with regarding anything about this disorder and the struggles that come along with it. Another question I've gotten is, how are the people around me affected by epilepsy? Currently, I don't believe I know anybody that has the condition or that has a close loved one with the condition. If I am wrong and you are somebody that happens to know somebody with a condition, I'd love to talk. I'd love for you to reach out. I'd love to meet more people that can understand the situation, or anybody that needs support. The closest thing I can think of is actually my 5th grade teacher said that he had epilepsy before. And because that is a grade in which I got diagnosed, that was an extreme help to me. Even though I was young and he was my teacher, it made me feel really supported. It made me feel not alone. Because I don't know that many people who have experienced epilepsy or know anybody with epilepsy, I will throw in a couple of common examples that you may or may not have heard about before. So somebody who experienced epilepsy was Boyce. From what I remember, he was a child actor on Disney Channel, and he recently passed away from SUDEP, which is sudden unexpected death in epilepsy. There's an amazing group called the Boyce Foundation who's dedicated to raising awareness around SUDEP and epilepsy in general. Other famous people you may know of who have had epilepsy are Prince, Lil Wayne, and Neil Young. So that pretty much covers the questions that I received. I want to thank you all again for watching this if you've made it this far, for leaving comments or any supportive words. It really does mean the world to me. If you have any further questions, please reach out to me. I would love to answer them. I'd love to talk about this more. I appreciate your support so very much, and thank you for watching this video.